Hey everybody, what's going on? Jamie Saettele here, SB Trade Desk Midweek Strategy Webinar. I'm going to wait for just a little bit here to make sure everyone gets in the room. I sent the link out, I guess a little late, just kind of got sidetracked here, looking at things and getting ready for this webinar. But lots of good charts to look at and very interesting implications from things like seasonality as we go into June. Okay. Oh, let me know real quick, folks, please, that you can hear me. Pooja says AV is good. All right. Great. Okay. All right. All right. We'll just get started here. Those that trickle in a little bit later, we'll just have to watch the archive, I guess. All right. So first things first, I just wanted to show there are really 5 important seasonal charts heading into June. This is actually the British pound. The pound is historically pretty bullish, actually, the next couple of months, okay? Particularly the next couple of weeks, okay? And then you can see that you turn down. Obviously, this green line, that's 5-year seasonality. And of course, that's going to be heavily skewed by what happened last year, right? Because Brexit was the end of June. So, that's gonna be skewed. But the next 2 weeks are pretty bullish cable across all the look back periods. Again into 6/16, which would be a Friday, and then you've got a pausing period historically, and then additional strength in early July. Okay, so we've got that going on here with cable. It's an interesting seasonal chart. The commodity charts, we've talked about this before, but commodity FX, you've got Aussie, historically pretty bullish. Again, really throughout June and into mid-July, really, Aussie is bullish. And this is a different way to look at it, but this is just on a month-by-month basis, right, over the 5, 10, 15, 20, and 30-year periods. As you can see, they're all green for June. All right, and combined, keep some of these seasonality things in mind as we look at the price charts and the patterns. Obviously, what I'll talk about in a little bit, but obviously the triangle pattern, the large B wave in Aussie, and the looking for big wave C higher. Very interesting time to have something like this going on with the seasonals. Kiwi actually, it's still bullish, but not as bullish, right? We've kind of actually been in a bullish period for Kiwi, really since, it's actually right on cue here, since, kind of mid-May, and we start to run out of steam a little bit in 6/16, so in 2 weeks, but dips, I think are still by there into mid-June. Dollar CAD, we are in a pretty bearish seasonal period, really, for the next week on all time frames, and then eventually you do hit a seasonal bottom point towards the end of June. Okay, and finally, dollar yen. June is actually historically a pretty good month for yen, a bearish month for dollar yen. Again, here's June. All right, you can see all look back periods very bearish. That's not the case, obviously, with all the months where some are positive, some are negative. But dollar yen has historically been very bearish, moving from really here on, here on out, especially for the next, 4 weeks or so. So those are as far as dollar weakness is concerned, those are where it's most pronounced. Okay. Again, that's just one piece of the puzzle. But now let's go to the charts. All right, so DXY, we'll start there. This chart's been pretty solid, I'd say, huh? This was one that we had posted. Actually, really back here on 519, I said if we got a bounce, we'd probably fail on the red, in the red zone, the red area. And lo and behold, yeah, stuff works out pretty well. We failed right at it, and we've turned down. So, look, allowing for any sort of sideways consolidation, focus is lower in the dollar, okay? And how much lower is tough to say. Obviously, it's going to depend on what you're looking at. But as far, what's currency pair you're looking at. But generally speaking, this is a lower trend. And the first real big support I think that we should be aware of is probably, again, the election low, right? Almost have done a full round trip on the election low. Remember, I guess it was the 525 update, and we had looked at I had presented I know what it was. It was the longer term DXY. Yeah, this is what it was, right? So remember the 52 week. 52 weeks, and we get the trend change, which again is a pretty important deal, because we've gone through a period of several years where we have had these false trend changes, if you will, right? And, similar to like back here, of course, that was before this huge rally in the dollar. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trend changes, okay, before this 7th one here over the last couple of years. So if this is the real deal, at least for a while, we probably go a bit further than the election low. But that's the first level that I'd be aware of is, someone wants to fade any dollar weakness. That's really the first spot. And who knows, maybe it's a little bit lower because the median line would come in lower, right, closer to 95 or below 95, depending on when you get there. And again, this is not yet a confirmed median line, but it is interesting to note all the, the spikes down through the 25 line, So this is a place where, based on median line analysis, logically you could go before you got a decent bounce, right? So that's general dollar stuff. Again, this will be mostly euro, implications here, but with the euro, the way the index is constructed, but still a good chart. Okay, moving on to euro dollar. So a few things with euro. Okay, so we know how important the 111 or even 110.80 level is. We've gotten 111.08. Was looking for an entry at 1140 today. Did not get it, but we have gone up into the area where I thought we could maybe pull back a little bit. One thing, if we look at a wave count from here, right? Yeah, 1, 2, okay, or AB, right? But a 1, 2, 1, 2. This right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything from 523, probably a fourth wave, right? Fourth waves, oftentimes flats or triangles. You already had a flat for wave 2 because this would be A, B, C. So probably not going to get a flat, might end up with something more like a triangle, in which case, we're going to be going sideways for a little bit before we get strong move higher. That's my thinking on this. Moving into the shorter term picture, right? This is a chart from last night, and you can see the ABC down. Went up. We were targeting 112.45 on a long, and if we would have been triggered, that would have been hit. Obviously, we weren't triggered, but ABC potentially could have a little B wave top in place here. So generally, thinking that we move a little bit lower, either within a triangle or a flat. More so, I'm thinking triangle and flat, because you already had a flat, right? But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So still higher, but allowing whatever's going to happen here to happen, whether it's a triangle or flat. I will say that 1196 is a first level for possible support. So, if you pull down to 1196 and find good support, might be worth a shot with a very tight stop. Otherwise, allow euro to kind of trade sideways in this fourth wave. Right, fourth waves are often sideways affairs, and then we will look to be long euro. British pound, pound dollar, just an absolutely wonderful slope I think we have going on here. Oh, one more thing with euro, going out a little bit further. So real quick here. All right, so the long-term slope, remember 25 line, right? 75 line. 75 line. The low this year in January was where? It was on the 75 line. Okay. Have gone through the median line. The next logical place to go is actually the 75 line. Before all is said and done with euro, we could be up back towards, close to 118.75 or so, which is the low from 2010. All right. And that, I think, probably fits in with our analog here pretty well. Yes, it does. So again, higher through June, then maybe get a pullback, and then higher again, right? So broadly speaking, still quite dollar bearish, euro bullish. However, the very short-term stuff, fourth wave, they can be complicated. So just kind of willing to let it play out. All right, let's move to pound. So cable, this was presented on 525. This slope with the blue line, have hit it twice in the last 4 days. And again, the drop on 526 was a high volume day, meaning, you could have capitulation. So we've retested it today, as cable often does. And my thinking is higher in cable. Basically, this is an uptrend, and the market is ready to go for another run. So probably something like this, probably a 1, 2, 3, ABC 4, higher in 5. And 5 may very well carry us up towards 135. Okay, we could end up back towards here. Okay, up above 135, really. Don't forget the long-term chart for cable, which fits very well with this notion that 135 is where we're going, right? It's on the long-term page. So trading wise, yeah, this, don't forget the seasonality, right? We're pretty bullish. Seasonal tendencies are, at least. So yeah, let's wait until the day finishes here, but probably be putting in a long pound order today or tonight. So yeah, lots to like about cable. The slope, the horizontal levels. Again, you've got the congestion here. You've got the high here from December. You've got the low from back here in July of last year. All that combines to make for a pretty beautiful technical picture in the British pound. All right, to take us higher. Yeah. Now, short term, obviously, 29.40, 29.50, the median line. You're going to see, potentially some resistance up there. It's an important level to pay attention to. But my bias is higher, okay, and probably 600 points higher in the British pound. What else? The analog. So this is pretty wild. The analog, which was presented how long ago? It was like the beginning of the year. Continues to do pretty good things. Even this little dip, even this little dip is in line with it. Okay. And again, it has us, really quite bullish over the next couple of weeks, which of course, if you remember what we talked about with the seasonals about 17 minutes ago, very bullish cable for the next 2 weeks. The seasonals that is, excuse me. All right, so very positive on British pounds, probably into the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, whatever. But the most important thing is where we are right now, which doing good things at support. And oh, by the way, you're going to get a J spike today, assuming you close above 28.57. J spike is going to happen today, right? Here. Got one at the top. Got one here. Got one here. Would not have worked. Get the idea, right? Lots to like about cable buying a dip. Let's go to a real short-term chart of cable here. Is there anything interesting to look at on an hourly chart? Maybe. 10-minute chart. Looks like an impulse to me. 1, 2, 3. It might get another high. Might get another move. Either way, I want to buy weakness in this. Your best area to do it is probably going to be, you got the square root level here at 28.32. Okay. Coincides more or less with some good horizontal price action. All right, let's move on then. So let's move on to Aussie. You know what I'm going to say with Aussie, I'm sure. It's the fact that I think we have completed a triangle and Aussie's about to go substantially higher. This first leg up, if I go to a short-term chart, say a 4-hour chart, not really the cleanest thing in the world, but what we do have that is somewhat clean is, I'll go to even a 60-minute chart, okay? You can see this a little better. So the rally from here, right here, from 74.42 is a 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. that tells me that this completed a truncated, you know, impulse, right, or a fifth wave impulse that was truncated with the third wave here. So what you have then from there is an impulse down from this high on 524 to this low on 526. Okay, what you have from there is an A, B, because this is a three-wave move, and then probably this, would be your wave C. So then you got A, B, C. So then you have larger A, smaller B, larger C. You can see how as we get more information on the chart, which is price, we're able to more confidently come up with a wave count, a viable wave count. Okay, so that means our measurement, we would be looking for 2 equal legs down here to here, which puts us at 73.81, which is an interesting price to note because 73.86 would be your low week close, and it's also the levels from back in 10/16, or sorry, October 2015 and December 2015. The highs then same area, right? So I would mark that 73.80s area as being quite important for the next big low, really. Okay, 73.80s for the next big low. I'm making a note here myself. All right. The Kiwi chart. Kiwi, again, same, you know what I'm doing here. We've got a pretty good looking chart for Kiwi. It's, the 71.40.50 area. Again, you got the lows over here, right? That is where I think you're probably going to find some sort of, issue on the upside with Kiwi. And if it's going to pull back, it probably needs to pull back from below that median line, right? So that's where I would be looking. Get yourself a pullback. I don't know if it can get all the way down here to 70 or even 69.70, but as noted yesterday, we do have in the update, we do have an impulse on the upside. You also have a nice outside month here. Okay, Kiwi outside month. Let me see if you've got it. You do not, but you have a Kiwi. You have an outside month on Kiwi, a bullish outside month here. So, a pullback into, say, let's just for fun, let's see where a pivot would be on a monthly basis for Kiwi. A lot of people look at the daily pivots and everything. It would actually be, I looked at the monthly ones, it would actually be 69.70. Oh my goodness, there's 69.70 to 70.12. So it's within that area anyway, which is nice. But yeah, we do have 5 waves up in Kiwi, okay? So you can see here that you got the 1, 2, 3, 4, looking like a diagonal in 5, or a wedge. You might want to call it a wedge, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not saying it can't push a little higher, just because you have that median line up there, but I would be looking for failure up here in Kiwi, okay, in a short position up in this region. And again, even though I'm you'd be broadly bullish because 5 waves up, you still, there's probably a good 100 pips of downside, if not, 150 or so. So that's the Kiwi thinking. And again, if we're looking at, you're thinking about, Aussie coming into the 73.80s, but Kiwi may be coming in a little deeper, right? And for a bigger pullback from here before it's allowed to go higher. Maybe, I'm not trying to screw with this. This is not my thing right now, but Aussie Kiwi could be interesting for amounts. Okay, it's kind of been a submarine. I mean, it's just been a complete submarine. So I have no setup here. I will make that very clear. I have no setup on Aussie Kiwi on the long side. However, based on the individual legs of it, thinking that maybe Aussie comes or Kiwi comes in a little bit more than Aussie, it might be an interesting thing to think about, especially if you start to see some reversal evidence, right? See what the momentum looks like on the near term. It's going to take a while to load here anyway. So we'll just move on rather than waiting for charts to load. Okay, moving on. Dollar CAD. I want to sell 35.40. Okay, remember, we see this, or I see this as a fourth wave rally. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Okay, A, B, C, 4. All right. I'll throw those in there. I just don't like to have labels all over my charts. I just like to have the lines. Wave 5 might be going for 33.25 or so. You have a square root level down there, and also the next parallel. 3, 4, 5. So I'm looking to sell 35.40. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. And there's if I go back to the 4-hour chart, there's actually more here. So don't forget, we also had, this is what we were waiting for a couple weeks ago. But you're finally going to get to the, right here. You're going to get to the bottom side of the former corrective channel as well. All right. And if I draw another corrective channel on the upside, say with this one, that's going to come in there too. Lots and lots of beautiful resistance at 35.40. Okay. So crude oil right now, what is it, down? Actually, it's rebounded a good amount here today. Let's take a look at the crude chart just because we do have such a nice looking spot for dollar CAD up there at 35.40. But the crude chart, it's in yesterday's post, but you do have a lot of stuff between 46.46 and 47.07. Okay, 47 is just the lows. 46.88 fib 618. 46.46 daily reversal resistance. Right, it's just the low day, the close from that day. And where are we going to get two equal legs? 46.50. What do you know? So looks like to me that 46.50 is probably going to be your sweet spot because you've got two equal legs there and the daily reversal level. Okay. That's level I would really want to see hold. So if we get down there, I mean, crude was down at 47.70 earlier today, and dollar CAD, yeah, it's up, but it's not, the relationship has been a little bit muted, right? And it's been going on for a while. So yeah, a little lower. in crude. 47.70 is where we were. Get a dollar more than that, and you're at a huge support. And if that turns up, it's going to probably help give dollar CAD a boost. But regardless of crude oil, the dollar CAD picture looks really, really great for a short at 35.40. All right, what about dollar yen? So dollar yen, again, the seasonal thing, we're talking about, basically June being a pretty weak month for dollar yen. And I can envision getting a bounce basically now, right? You've got basically I'm kind of ignoring this, right? Like all this here, we had a really nice short here, but kind of ignoring the move out of this. Again, a lot of people won't do that, but it does seem pretty clear or obvious, if you will, that you are, this trend line in red, which is just this trend line right here. Okay, it does seem pretty clear to me, at least, that that's still the thing to watch, right? I mean, it's resistance here. Okay, you went out through it, came back into it, and then it was resistance again. Okay, we were long for a little bit. We had break-even stops, so no harm, no foul, but was looking for something more like this, maybe even something up here, because it would have been nice to see dollar yen rally into the month end and then take a short. But as it is now, looking for a little bit of a bounce. Again, you still have the fib here. Okay, the 110.50 fib, which is actually it's been support today. Okay, so you can get that little bounce from down here, basically where you are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get a bounce, and you might get resistance on this level again. It could be up near the 1160s, 1170s. 1173 is daily reversal resistance. So essentially, I go into June with the idea of wanting to sell, or short a bounce. Okay, short a bounce in dollar yen. That's the big thing there. All right, so those are all the majors. There are some crosses that are going to be interesting. Oh, one more thing on dollar yen. Hold on. So we've got the comparison from way early in the year, which may be coming back into focus. We could be essentially looking for the next low towards the end of July in dollar yen. That's the point of this. Okay. Again, this is a very involved kind of comparative. It's going back to an inverse relationship all the way in the late 80s and 90s. So it's a long time ago, but generally speaking, the shape, the character is there. This is, for the big moves. Okay. So kind of bearish into, July, maybe towards even the end of July, before it's time to look for a big low or get bullish. Okay, so that brings us to some of the crosses. Euro yen. Look, generally, I lean towards, as kind of buying, euro. But right now, there's short term. There's certainly some possibilities for euro, right? It's in a fourth wave. That's always very difficult to deal with. So I don't mind looking at a short on something like euro yen. All right, we had this chart last night with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking for A, B, C. it would seem pretty shallow right now as far as being complete at this point, but see if we can get a little more specific. So if this is your channel, all right, your corrective channel, well, that's not going to intersect because that would intersect now, so you're not looking there, right? But this, is a channel that you may want to keep in mind. What I do like is that 124.98 is where you have two legs up, okay, and 124.95 is a square root level, okay. So I would pay attention to this even if it's below the channel. So 120, 124.95 might be your spot for a short in euro yen. Remember the whole euro yen thing. We're looking for a move back towards the top side of the broken resistance line, right? Which is going to be lower than 121.50 now. Again, this is probably going to be mostly, I would think it's probably going to be mostly yen based, but who knows? Could be completely wrong on euro. Okay, there are going to be some of these commodity crosses against the euro too. So euro Aussie, for example, as you can see, its huge run. This is a weekly chart, but the 2012-2015 trend line, which was resistance after the election, is actually not very far away. It's pretty close. So it's 52, it's close to 52.70. So that's going to be an area to watch out for as well. Euro CAD, try to short this week. Started working and then it came back, so we got out of break even, but we might finally get that 52.50, 52.79 area, right? And then it can turn over again. So this was the chart we had. We were looking for basically to come back into the month open. But no dice there. So yeah, just get ready for a push up through the election high here. Then I'd be looking for failure. And that is, I think, pretty much what I've got to say for now on FX at least. So are there questions on things or things to look at or questions on trading? Any markets, whatever you guys want to take a look. Gold and silver, of course. Let's take a look. So go to gold here. This is your weekly chart. Would seem to be an uptrend, pressing major resistance. So if we can get a a break up through here. Oh, Karthik asking about EuroCAD and Euro Aussie levels. Yeah, sure. I'll go. Let me just, because I got the gold chart up here. Let me just finish that real quickly. So that big picture chart, right, for gold, I believe this is going to break higher. Okay, it's just all there is to it. You continually test this thing. We've been testing it off and on for about a year. And when it breaks, I think we probably are headed to 1430, which is going to be, the August 2013 high. Essentially, it's a form of fourth wave. So levels to go long, which I'm a step ahead of you here. Levels to go long, here's your slope. You're looking at these levels right here. Okay. We may be close to completing an impulse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, triangle 5. $12.40 was the big level I had previously for support. I would not want to be chasing up here. Again, I think you do have an impulse about done because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is your triangle. If you wanted to trade it like right now, you could be targeting 1284 because that would be the breakout of this range. All right. And your support is going to be basically 1263 to 1264. Okay. So 1284 is the measured target from this level. Work with me now. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. So any sort of pullback in gold, you should be looking for support probably somewhere on these blue parallels, which you've kind of already hit one here today. But it's bullish while you're above 1259 or so. So look at 1263, 1264 for support. Take it to 1284, but then I'd be out because at that point you could get another pullback. Okay. And oh, that's great. That 1284 level that we just talked about, that's also your daily reversal spot. Okay. In other words, that's the high. So headed to 1284, well, probably above 1259, 1263 support. So that's pretty good reward to risk right there, isn't it? Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, so there is gold. I will do silver in a sec. Let me take a look first at Euro Aussie again for you. So Euro Aussie, that was Karthik asking about Euro Aussie. I had it on the other charts, didn't I? Euro Aussie and Euro CAD. So Euro Aussie, you are going to be looking for resistance probably around 52.60, 52.70, because that's the underside of the former trend line 2011, 2015. Okay, that trend line here. Put it in red. You can see it, right? And then you've got, let's see. And then you've got EuroCAD. Got resistance a little closer for EuroCAD. It's more like 52.50 to 52.79. 52.79 is the high from November. All right, 52.50 is resist. It's the weekly, what we call weekly reversal resistance. Okay, it's the high week. It's the close from that week. So that's a big level as well. Obviously, you're pressing on the median line right now, which is simply just the center channel of this entire channel. It goes all the way back to 2012. But yeah, it should be pretty, I would expect it to be kind of a pausing point for what's been a pretty exceptional rally in Euro everything since mid-April. All right, now I will do silver. Log scale silver. Remember, silver is one that we kind of had clean for a while, but this just kind of, whatever the hell happened here. I mean, literally silver, like I've never seen anything like it really. Have you? Even for silver. There's certainly a wave count that one could make a case that you have a 5 up here, and then an A, B, and this was wave C. Okay, so that's certainly something that we can make a case for. Near term, kind of pressing this channel, you know, look, I would look at support. There's two ways to play this. Okay, one is don't do anything right now and wait for either the market to come into this line, which is just this trend line, okay, from here to here. But you can see that this actually has been pretty solid as far as outlining little, little supports, right? I mean, it's just support the last couple of days, in fact, on the median line. And of course, the other trade, which is the breakout trade, which is kind of what we're about to do in dollar CAD, because we're looking for that resistance up at 35.40, but is if you can break out of this, right? That would not be right. Markets can't go backwards in time. If you were to break out of this, and then you'd come back, and then you'd look for support. Okay. So this is just a channel, and it was resistance back here. Okay, so it's either this or something like this, right? That's how I'd be looking at it, or looking at silver. That's about it. That's really it for silver as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, the gold, it's funny how these things go in and out. Like silver looked cleaner than gold months ago, and now gold looks cleaner than silver, at least to me, on a longer term basis. Finally, why don't we look at the S&P? Obviously very quiet up here for the most part, but we may very well have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be a diagonal. There's a lot of people talking about the triangle. I don't really think that's an option anymore. And if it is, it's lower. I think it's lower probability because at this point you'd have A, B, C, D. If this is a D wave, it's very irregular, okay, and it would be an ascending triangle, really. And you can have wave B higher than origin of A, right? The end of B, but you really should not have wave D up here. If it was a day, fine, but it's not. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like we got like 5 days up here. So my point being, this is important because if you start to come off now, then I'm more inclined to actually think that you're going to break. You're going to break lower at this point. Okay, I would have liked to have seen a move on the red line, which is essentially your ending diagonal line. It's really your 1-3 line, right? Because a lot of times you get a throw over, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 throw. Kind of go through it, kind of go through the level, come back in, and then that's it. But yeah, just follow these parallels, though. I mean, support line from back in 1230, 417, right? 1213 high makes a nice parallel. You've got all the highs on that level, some support. So if we do get some, sometimes the first day of the month you'll get a kind of a crazy buying spree as new money comes in, or they say, or as mutual funds put their money to work, as they say. But if you get that, watch for resistance on the red line. 24, near about 24, 28, 29 tomorrow. If we crack below back into the previous range, which is from March, if you crack below that level, then I'd kind of be bearish. I'd be bearish. On a short-term trading basis, I'd be bearish for a move down towards the support line, which would be high 2360s. If we break and get a little rebound, you want to be bearish back at 2401. All right, so really, quite clean on its parallels here, going back, 5 or so months for the S&P, and kind of have a if-then statement on what to do if the market does this or that. Anything else? Going once, going twice. Oh, copper. All right, you got it. I like copper higher. Pretty simple. I like copper higher. We've had the cleanest looking charts in copper for a long time. Basically, the way I'm looking at this is, here's a daily chart, okay? One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, looking higher than 5. And, it hasn't been easy. Like, it's never easy, but back in April, we kind of, had the idea or an idea that a low was coming in here, and there was a low. In fact, copper went crazy on the upside for a while. Then it came right back down. Right now, we're back having based, and kind of pressing again within this channel, this resistance. We've been trading on it for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm looking for copper to break to the upside through this. Don't forget, you got the support line. For the most part, you've held what would be considered a former, your former channel resistance line, acted as support on numerous occasions, going all the way back to November. Support, support, support. Not really support, but then we came back above it. So willing to give the benefit of the doubt to the upside. And if your question is why give the benefit of the doubt to the upside, it's because you've got this trend line back from 2002, 2008, 2016. It's a really damn long, important trend line. All right. So yeah, I like copper higher. I know there's going to be a lot of head and shoulders talk here with this. It could just as well be a triangle, though. Right? We don't know. You don't know if it's a head and shoulders. Let me see if this does something interesting. So if we do some Elliott channeling here. So this would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would probably be 3. Wait, 1, 2. 3, 4. Yeah, this would. Okay. One, two. It looks very awkward, but this is actually how you would properly draw an Elliott channel. Okay, because this is 1, 2. This is all 3. This is all 4. And you draw from the top of 1 to the top of 3. Extend it from the low of 2, and then you look for. That's where you should get the wave 5, basically. Okay, so that's there's an Elliott channel for you. I'm drawing some of the labels real quick. So there's a lot of, you can see there's a lot going on as far as the labels are concerned, but so 1, 2, and then that's 1, that's 2, right, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 4, and looking for 5, right? So hope that makes sense. But yeah, this is my thought process, if you will, on copper. It's about to go on the upside pretty good. Anything else? Once, twice. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, done. All right, so thank you all very much for attending here, and let me get this up and archive for you. And I hope you all have a great rest of your May. There's not a whole lot of it left, but excited for June, as we've got some good setups, it would seem, here to look at. Mostly dollar based for the most part, but specific to, I think, Aussie, maybe pound, but Aussie's looking really interesting, and so is dollar cat looking really interesting. All right, okay, so take care, everybody. Have the update out later tonight. All right, bye.